Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. A Big Brother star and a Survivor winner stood on the ridge of a jagged desert canyon, staring at the final checkpoint of the Ultimate Gauntlet, a new reality competition show promising one prize, only $1 million. The sun beat down on them in a harsh, relentless blaze, yet neither contestant backed down. They had traveled too far, fought too hard, and proven too much to falter now. Lena Torres, the fierce and wildly strategic former Big Brother finalist, felt her heart hammer inside her chest. She had survived backdoors, blindsides, social warfare, and the brutal mental games of the Big Brother house. Yet none of that compared to this new competition, which demanded strength, speed, concentration, and unshakable trust. She wiped the sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand, then steadied her breath. Beside her stood Jace Holloway, the Survivor champion known for fire-building, resilience, and a steadfast loyalty that had earned him a massive fan base. His muscles ached from days of climbing, swimming, sprinting, and solving riddles. He had made alliances in jungles, eaten bugs in storms, and won challenges that pushed the limits of human endurance. Still, he knew this game was a different beast entirely. The Ultimate Gauntlet dared competitors to break their limits and push past fear. Only two teams were left. Lena and Jace formed Team Alpha, a powerhouse duo forged from trust and necessity. Against them stood Team Orion, featuring a pro obstacle racer and a retired Marine sniper. The final obstacle was a massive labyrinth carved deep into the earth. Inside were hidden puzzle pieces, each one heavy and carved from stone. Collect them, assemble them, then race to the summit where a beacon awaited activation. Jace took a deep breath. "We did not come all this way to lose," he said. His voice rumbled with certainty. Lena nodded. "We finished this. Together." The horn blasted across the canyon like a battle cry. Both teams dashed into the labyrinth. Dust kicked up behind Lena and Jace as they sprinted through narrow corridors. The air was hot and heavy, yet adrenaline drove them forward. Inside the maze, torches flickered, casting shadows that made the stone walls feel alive. Lena studied the layout with intense focus. Back on Big Brother, she could read the house like a book, anticipating moves and sensing danger. That skill returned now as she scanned for patterns in the labyrinth. She motioned for Jace. "This way. I see a route." Jace followed without question. His trust in her was absolute. Survivor had taught him that sometimes survival depended on choosing the right partner. Lena, with her sharp mind and calm under pressure, was exactly that. They reached the first puzzle chamber. A massive boulder sat in front of the stone table. Their first piece rested behind it. Jace dug his heels into the ground, preparing to push. Lena braced beside him, and together they shoved with everything they had. Muscles strained, bones throbbed, sweat drenched their shirts. Slowly, the boulder rolled aside with a deep grinding sound that echoed across the chamber. Lena lifted the puzzle piece. It weighed nearly as much as a small child, yet she refused to drop it. Jace steadied her. "We got it. Move!" They dashed back into the maze, carrying the stone slab between them. As they rounded a corner, they heard Team Orion catching up, their boots slamming against stone. The Marine called out, "Step aside, rookies! We were made for this." Jace shot Lena a determined glance. "Keep going." They sprinted harder, weaving through corridors as the labyrinth challenged their sense of direction. Twice, they reached dead ends. Twice, Lena recalculated her route without hesitation, drawing from memory, pattern recognition, and instinct. Each step brought them closer to the second chamber. Inside the next room, a long pit stretched across the floor. A narrow beam extended from one side to the other. Their next puzzle piece rested at the far end. Lena stepped onto the beam first, using the balance she had honed through dozens of Big Brother competition challenges. Jace followed slowly, steadying his breath. One wrong step, and they would fall into a thick pool of mud that would cost precious time. Halfway across the beam, trembled under their combined weight. Jace froze. Lena turned her head, offering a reassuring smile. "One step at a time. You survived storms, wild animals, and 36 days of chaos. You can survive this." Jace felt his fear loosen its grip. He advanced carefully, foot by foot, until they reached the other side. Together, they lifted the next stone piece. The weight of it threatened to drag them down, yet they held strong. Team Orion entered the room just as Lena and Jace finished crossing back. The Marine growled in frustration as his teammate wobbled on the beam. They were losing ground. Lena and Jace hurried onward toward the third chamber where a complex riddle awaited them. A stone door sealed the room and carved symbols decorated its surface. A sentence etched beneath read, "Solve the pattern to enter." Jace frowned. "I'm good at challenges, but riddles on stone walls are not really my strong suit." Lena knelt and studied the symbols. She had navigated Big Brother puzzles that twisted logic into knots. Compared to these, this was manageable. She traced the symbols in the air, forming connections like mental threads. Finally, she pressed 4 symbols in rapid sequence. The stone door rumbled open. Inside the chamber, their final slab awaited them. As they grabbed it, their legs threatened to buckle under the weight of all 3 pieces, yet neither quit. Once outside the chamber, they dragged the stones toward the exit of the labyrinth. Every step was agony. Muscles screamed, hearts pounded, yet determination overpowered the pain. When they finally burst into the open canyon again, sunlight flooded their eyes. The final ascent stood before them, a steep ridge leading to the summit beacon. Lena breathed hard. Jace placed a hand on her shoulder. One last climb. They lifted the puzzle pieces again and ascended. The wind howled around them, blowing dust into their faces. Their legs shook from exhaustion, yet they pushed upward, driven by the dream of victory. Halfway up the ridge, Team Orion emerged behind them, sprinting with raw, aggressive power. The Marine shouted, "We are not done yet." Lena and Jace forced themselves to climb faster. Their lungs burned, their vision blurred, yet they refused to fall behind. At the summit platform, Lena and Jace laid the puzzle slabs onto the ground. Together, they assembled the massive stone emblem. It locked into place with a sharp echo. Jace slammed his hand onto the beacon button. A blinding flare shot into the sky, signaling their victory. For a moment, neither spoke. They simply collapsed into the dust, overwhelmed by relief and triumph. $1 million was theirs not just because of strength or strategy, but because they trusted each other completely. Lena exhaled. "We did it!" Jace smiled wide. "We really did!" The ultimate gauntlet had found its champions, and they had earned their victory.
The sun
Every
hung
step of the
high
way.
over the coastal cliffs as 2 competitors stood on the edge of destiny. A Big Brother star and a Survivor winner had clawed their way to the final stage of The Ultimate Triumph, a brutal new reality competition show that offered one prize, only $1 million. Every step, every challenge, and every heartbeat had led to this moment. Lara Stone, the fierce and unbreakable former Big Brother standout, wiped the sweat from her brow. Her time inside the Big Brother house had forged her mind into a weapon. She had mastered social strategy, mental battles, and high-pressure competitions. Yet this show demanded far more. It demanded strength, endurance, trust, and grit that went well beyond any elimination vote. Beside her stood River Kane, the Survivor champion, with a reputation built on resilience and raw determination. He had lived among storms, eaten through hunger, and fought through exhausting tribal battles. Survivor had given him the skills to endure pain and chaos, but this game had tested him in ways he never imagined. Behind them stretched a landscape of destruction. Broken obstacles, shattered planks, and footprints in the mud marked the path of the earlier challenges. They had outrun timed traps, lifted massive stone blocks, and solved riddles that twisted logic into knots. Now only one challenge remained. A towering steel structure rose before them, casting a long shadow over the field. At the top glowed the final target. Hit it, and the $1 million would be theirs. River took a deep breath. "This is it," he said, his voice steady but heavy with emotion. "One last fight." Lara nodded. Her muscles ached and her knees trembled, but her eyes burned with determination. "We get up there no matter what. We have come too far to lose now." The host raised a flag, signaling the final round. A loud horn blasted across the cliffs. With that sound, the race began. Lara and River sprinted toward the climbing wall at the base of the structure. The steel ladder shook under their hands as they scrambled upward. Wind whipped at their faces. The metal burned their palms. Heights were nothing new to them, yet the pressure of the $1 million prize added a weight that no safety harness could hold steady. Halfway up, Lara heard a shout from below. The rival team, Team Titan, was closing in. Their pair consisted of a former football player and a military rescue expert, both incredibly strong and dangerously competitive. Lara glanced down only for a moment before River called out, "Keep going. Focus ahead. Focus on us." She pushed upward faster, ignoring the burn in her arms. Together, they reached the first platform where a puzzle board awaited them. 3 shapes were carved into stone. A code glowed beneath them. "Arrange the shapes in the correct order," the board read. Lara knelt instantly. This was her territory. Big Brother had prepared her for this exact pressure. She studied the grooves, the shadows, and the shape edges. Her mind worked like lightning. River steadied the pieces as she directed him. "Rotate that one. Move it to the top slot. That edge fits with this one. No, not there. Yes, right there." The board lit up with a deep golden glow. The next ladder dropped from above with a loud clang. They climbed again, this time faster because Team Titan was gaining. The military competitor shouted, "We are right behind you. Keep running. You cannot hide up there." River glanced at Lara. "Ignore them. They do not set our pace." They reached the second platform. A physical challenge awaited them. A heavy rope hung over a gap between platforms. They had to swing across and land cleanly or fall into the net far below, which would cost precious time. River stepped back, gripped the rope, and launched himself across. He soared for a breathless moment, then landed solidly on the opposite ledge. Lara followed. Her grip burned, her arms shook. Yet she made the jump, landing on her knees and scrambling up. Team Titan reached the rope behind them. The football player swung easily, but the military expert stumbled and nearly fell. A shout of frustration echoed across the structure. It bought Lara and River seconds, but seconds mattered. They rushed upward toward the third platform where the final task awaited them. The wind howled stronger here, bending the structure slightly. Fog rolled in from the sea, turning the sky into a gray labyrinth. The last challenge was a massive lock mechanism carved into iron. A single-word instruction glowed above it. "Align the rings to forge the final key." Lara bit her lip. This puzzle was monstrous in size. She needed precision. She needed focus. River stood behind her, shielding her from the wind as she examined the carved rings. River asked, "What do you see?" She traced the symbols with her fingertips. Patterns, layers, hidden markers. She rotated the first ring. Then the second. She paused. One wrong move could restart the mechanism and cost them the lead. Below them, Team Titan reached the second platform. Their shouts grew louder. Tension vibrated through the air. Lara forced a steady breath. "We have to trust my read on this." River nodded. "I trust you with everything." She moved the final ring into place. A deep metallic click echoed through the wind. The platform shook, and the lock released a glowing steel key. "This is it," River said. "The final target is up top. We climb and activate the beacon." They grabbed the key and climbed the narrow final ladder toward the summit. The fog thinned as they rose. The wind screamed around them, as if daring them to fall. Their arms felt ready to collapse, but they clung to the ladder with sheer will. Below, they heard Team Titan beginning the puzzle. Time was slipping, but not fast enough to catch them if they kept moving. At last, Lara and River pulled themselves onto the highest platform. A single pedestal stood at the center with a glowing keyhole. The final light target hovered above it like a tiny sun. Lara stepped forward with the key. River placed his hand over hers. Together, they pushed the key into the slot. It clicked. Then the entire structure lit up in blinding gold. A siren echoed across the cliffs. They had done it. The $1 million was theirs. Lara sank to her knees, overwhelmed with emotion. River laughed breathlessly, tears mixing with sweat.
They embraced, a long, exhausted, triumphant embrace born from days of struggle and a partnership built on trust and grit. Through trials, strength, storms, puzzles, and fear, they had proven themselves. A Big Brother star and a Survivor winner had climbed the impossible, and together they had conquered the ultimate triumph. The world watched, the crowd roared. Their victory was undeniable. They had done it.